Let's see. Are we here? Hey, everybody. Are we here? There he is. All right. Hey, everybody. I'm so sorry about the delay in signal there. I am broadcasting from a studio in my basement where I have no cell reception. And once I get into a show, I'm just off and running. So thanks for hanging with me. You just missed a beautiful half an hour of music that I played, but I'll do it again because you're that important to me. So here we are. Thank you for coming this evening, and thanks for your patience. So sorry for the technical difficulties. Just going to do a quick reset on the lights here. There we are. And yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the Sophia Center in Binghamton, New York, an extraordinary interfaith community center, a community resource. The Sophia Center is a place for interfaith dialogue, a place for communication about social justice and civil rights issues in the area, and that beautiful intersection that exists where our faith practices and our sense of justice in the world intersect. So it is a delight to be this evening broadcasting in partnership with the Sophia Center. And I'll just get right on to it. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who are these children dressed in red? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the ones that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who are these children dressed in white? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who are these children dressed in blue? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the ones that's coming on through. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who are these children dressed in black? God's gonna trouble the water. Must be the ones never turning back. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble 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 the water. My journey on an awareness of civil rights began well before I was in school. But when I entered kindergarten, I met a woman who changed the direction of my life. Dorothy Page Turner is her name. She was and still is, in various forms, a music educator, a school teacher, an extraordinary human being. And I met her on the first day of kindergarten at Garrison Elementary School in Rockford, Illinois. And Dorothy had us all singing songs from the movement, songs of peace, songs of justice, songs of civil rights and equality. And you have to know that in the late 1970s, it was an incredibly courageous thing for a young African-American music teacher to decide that she was going to use that platform to teach her students about the truth of the world around them. And she got away with it because she is just so charismatic and so lovely and such an amazing human being. And she got us all awakened at a very young age to injustice in the world. And this next song is a song that she taught me back then. It must have been one that we sang at a school concert, but it stayed with me for a long time.
If you miss me at the back of the bus and you don't find me nowhere, come on up to the front of the bus. I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. Come on up to the front of the bus. I'll be riding up there. If you miss me at the front of the bus, you don't find me nowhere, come on down to the swimming hole. I'll be swimming in there. I'll be swimming in there. I'll be swimming in there. Come on down to the swimming hole. I'll be swimming in there. If you miss me at the swimming hole, you don't find me nowhere, come on up to the city pool. I'll be swimming up there. I'll be swimming up there. I'll be swimming up there. Come on up to the city pool. I'll be swimming up there. If you miss me at Jackson State, you don't find me nowhere, come on up to Ole Miss. I'll be studying there. I'll be studying there. I'll be studying there. Come on up to Ole Miss. I'll be studying there. If you miss me at the picket line and you don't find me nowhere, come on up to the city jail. I'll be singing in there. I'll be singing in there. I'll be singing in there. Come on up to the city jail. I'll be swimming up there. If you miss me at the city jail, you don't find me nowhere, come on up to City Hall. I'll be mayor up there. I'll be mayor up there. I'll be mayor up there. Come on up to City Hall. I'll be mayor up there. If you miss me at the back of the bus, you don't find me nowhere, come on up to the front of the bus. I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. I'll be riding up there. Come on up to the front of the bus. I'll be riding up there.
Excuse me a second. So this next song was written by my dear friend John Fromer, who passed several years ago, but an extraordinary songwriter. And I sang this song with John so many times on picket lines and at rallies and demonstrations. And it's really just an extraordinary song, one of my all-time favorites. Gonna take us all.
Need the Buddhists and the Baptists, Quakers and Catholics too, the atheists and agnostics, the Muslims and the Jews. We need people of all nations, all colors and all creeds, to put an end to war now, to put an end to greed. Gonna take us all to make a change, take us all to win the peace. Gonna take us all in the streets, gonna take us all, gonna take us all. We need the immigrants and the unions, the Greens and the gays, the hip-hoppers and the beboppers and the women for equal pay, the farm workers out in the field, homeless out in the rain, seniors and the soccer moms, to build a world that is humane. Gonna take us all to make a change, take us all to win the peace. Gonna take us all in the streets, gonna take us all, gonna take us all. We need your friends and your neighbors, the poets and the painters, the socialists and the anarchists, the pacifists and the humanists. Every culture and community, it takes black and white and brown. Sometimes we won't see eye to eye, but we stand on common ground. Gonna take us all to make a change, take us all to win the peace. Gonna take us all in the streets, gonna take us all, gonna take us all to make a change, take us all to win the peace. Gonna take us all in the streets, gonna take us all, gonna take us all. Gonna take us all. Gonna take us all in the streets. Gonna take us all.
Several years ago, I was on my way out to Seattle for Thanksgiving. And I was on my way to the airport, and I realized there was absolutely no way I was going to make Midway Airport in time to catch that flight, even though I had 2.5 hours. I know Chicago traffic, and it just wasn't going to happen. And so I called the Southwest Airlines folk, and I said, yeah, I'm going to miss my flight. And they said, well, it's still 2.5 hours. How do you know that? I said, trust me, I'm going to miss my flight, sadly. Just like I missed the beginning of this concert. How about that? But you know, they were cool, and they got me on another flight. But I got to the airport, and this happens to me fairly frequently as I'm wearing, you know, sort of generic clothing, but carrying bright red guitar cases that have a lot of lefty and progressive stickers on them. I frequently get selected for random extra screening. And that was the case on that particular day. And that shunted me out of security in a place that I don't normally end up. And I noticed a sign I had never seen before, though I had walked past it probably hundreds of times. And it was a sign that just said Airport Chapel with an arrow pointing up. And I saw an elevator, and I thought, that's exactly what I need today. I need to go just take a giant deep breath and sit in the Airport Chapel. And so I did. And much to my delight, it was an incredibly serene space with nobody in it. There were no symbols per se, overt religious symbols of any faith, but it was a place that persons of every faith would feel welcome. And I went over in the corner to just sit down and do a little Buddhist meditation. And I noticed that there was a prayer rug in the opposite corner. And it was a little disheveled, and the corner was folded over, and it seemed disrespectful to me. And so I felt called to go over there and smooth it out and make it neat so that whoever the next person was that came in and wanted to say their prayers could do so. And then I went back and sat down and continued with my meditation. And after that, a young man came over, and he walked in the chapel and set his things down, and he went right to the prayer rug that I had worked so neatly to set straight, and he nudged it a little bit, and then he did his thing. And I wanted to share a song with you that came out of that experience. It's just called We Come Into the Chapel.
We come into the chapel, each of us to pray, each one understanding God in a different way. And side by side we offer thanks and gratitude we pray, together in this chapel right before Thanksgiving Day. When I entered into sacred space, the first thing that I saw was the prayer rug slightly crumpled up and pushed against the wall. And with no hesitation, I set that prayer rug right and smoothed it neatly on the floor on this Thanksgiving night. And then I went to kneel in the corner on the floor, and as I began to settle, I heard the chapel door open up, and then came through a handsome gentleman. He set down his baggage and he went about his plan. He turned himself right to the rug that I had just laid straight. He nudged it maybe half a foot and then knelt down and prayed. And when his prayers were finished, he stood up and looked around. And then he turned the corner of that prayer rug upside down. As he was finished praying and gathering to go, I put out my hand in friendship and said, "Hey, my name is Joe." "Well, actually it's Joseph." And with a smile and gentle sigh, he said, "My name is Yusuf. We've the same name, you and I." We talked for 20 minutes of family and life, of studies and of travel, of struggles and of strife, of hopes and dreams that we both shared, of answers yet to seek, and wished each other blessings and a good Thanksgiving week. I told him of how carefully I tidied up the space to honor what is holy and sacred in this place. He said, "We always turn the corner up so travelers will see that this rug faces Mecca. Many thanks for asking me. Though times may be uncertain and some people cannot stand to hear the many names of God as equal or as grand, I pray for my friend Yusuf, bid farewell once more, shake hands, and offer prayers of peace, prayers of blessings in our lands. Yes, Thanksgiving is upon us, but it's not about one day. It's about what lives within our hearts and the things for which we pray. So tonight I pray for travelers and all of those who roam, and gently bow toward Mecca and say peace, salam, shalom.
May it be so. May there be peace. This next song is another one that was inspired by Dorothy Page Turner. not just the singing of it, but the writing of it. Dorothy recruited me. Kindergarten wasn't the first time she had an impact on my life. When I was 13, she recruited me for a 5-year stint with the Black Theater Ensemble in Rockford, Illinois. I was the only Caucasian member of the ensemble, and it was very difficult for me to take on an awareness at that age of the intensity of what racism had done to our country, of what racism had done to a people. But it was an incredible education. I wish every young person in the country could come to that awareness in the ways and at the age that I did. I think a lot of things would be different if that were the case, but we all keep doing our part. I know many of you were out marching, many of you were writing letters. There's so many things that can be done. And I've given Anna Ratliff is helping me out with the broadcast, but I've given Anna a set of links for organizations that I have looked at and looked into and I think are incredible. There's so many ways, even in quarantine, even in supporting COVID-19 practices, there's so many ways that you can be a part of the movement, that you can help out. Obviously, making donations to various legal aid societies is one way. Other ways involve bringing food or water or masks or hand sanitizer to demonstrations, bringing first aid to demonstrations if it's needed. You can be much more actively in touch with your local representatives. We had a march in Sycamore, Illinois last Wednesday, and those of you who've been through Sycamore know that it's not a big town. We had about 700 people gathering on the lawn of the courthouse and marching through the streets of Sycamore. And it was incredibly beautiful to see it. The diversity was something that was led by Black Lives Matter, but they were accepting support and help from any allies that wanted to lend it. And it was an incredible show for the community here, and it reminded me of so many marches I've been on in other places. So it's easy to say that because it's a small town or because it's a rural place that, I'll just drive into the city and go to their march. No, unfortunately, racism exists everywhere, and so the work to end racism has to exist everywhere. And I was thinking about all of that when I wrote this song about Martin Luther King. It's just called Martin.
January 15th, 1929, born in the city of Atlanta. Just another preacher's kid singing in the choir. This kid had a vision, reach for something higher. 6 years old when segregation put him in his place. Started school and lost his childhood friends, questioning the order of society and faith. Many deeper truths which one cannot escape. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep holding on to what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Booker T. Washington High School was the place. He began to raise his voice on poverty and race. Headed off to Morehouse, a 15-year-old sage, chasing dreams of dignity beyond his youthful age. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, keep speaking up for what you know is true. Living out the teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Studying the sacred word challenged him to grow. He headed for Montgomery toward a fate he could not know. City buses, boycotts, peaceful marches in the street. A bomb thrown through a window, a crown of thorns laid at his feet. Albany to Birmingham, St. Augustine to Selma, Boston, New York City, Chicago and D.C., carrying the burden and the banner of equality till 1968, April 4th, Memphis, Tennessee. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Martin, oh Martin Luther King, we will speak for what we know is true. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Living out your teachings, continuing to sing. Martin, oh Martin Luther King. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King.
One of the songs that Dorothy taught us when we were young, that we used in the Black Theater Ensemble, and that has been a part of the movements for many years, long as I'm guessing most of us can remember. This song has been a part of the movements. And it's having a resurgence, and that makes me very, very happy. It's a song that needs to be sung, and the spirit of defiance and the spirit of community that it embodies are really important both. Just this evening, word came down from New York Times and several other news sources that the Minneapolis City Council has voted to disband the Minneapolis Police Department as it exists, and to begin an honest dialogue with the community about what safety looks like for everybody in the community, not just some people. And I think that's an extraordinary step forward, and a step forward that probably needs to be taken in many other places, but that's a very hopeful step in the right direction.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no hatred turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let racism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let racism turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no fire hose turn me around, turn me around. Turn me around, ain't gonna let no fire hose turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no jailhouse turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no police turn me around, turn me around, Turn me around, ain't gonna let no police turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no Jim Crow turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let new Jim Crow turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let no tear gas turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let no tear gas turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Sing it. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
For those of you that are looking for some interesting thoughts, if you go to my website, if you go to joejencks.com, right on the homepage, I've posted the writings of my dear friend, beautiful artist from the movements, Ricardo Levins Morales. He's been involved for many, many years in a process of citizen review of the Minneapolis police, Minneapolis 150. You can look it up. And he's also just a stunning artist, gifted artist, and he had some really interesting thoughts and ideas about what it means for Caucasians, for white people, to be allies in the struggle for racial equity. And I've posted those thoughts up on my website. It's only 3 or 4 paragraphs, a very easy read, but some very important ideas and thoughts. And I've also put links to his work and more of his thinkings and writings and teachings. You may enjoy taking a look at those. Somebody who lives in the neighborhood where so much focus has been placed, because that's where George Floyd was killed. I had the privilege recently to work with school children in Waukegan, Illinois. And I have to tell you that it was really an astonishing experience. This is a school that's roughly 78% African American, 17% Latino, Latina, Latinx, about 4% Asian. It's a school that is really living in various ways the disparity and the struggles that we are talking about now nationally as a country. And I wanted to share with you a song that I wrote with a group of 5th graders because they were really on top of it. They were really paying attention. And it's interesting for me to look now at this song that we finished in early January in light of what's been going on in the world. But it's just called We Are the People. And this is co-written with myself and students at North Elementary in Waukegan.
We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We have the right not to be judged by the color of our skin, or by the language that we speak, or our country of origin. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman helped to lead the fight to ending slavery, railroad to freedom, justice always in sight. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. Sylvia Mendez and Cesar Chavez, students and workers unite Sylvie Bridges and Jackie Robinson led us into the light. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We carry it forward into the future. We are the voices and hands, singing for freedom, working for justice, all throughout the land. We are the people, we have the right to speak our truth, to stand in the light. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty. We are all equal, we are all free, to live our lives in liberty.
That's what young people were thinking about in January in Waukegan. And, you know, I wish I could inspire all young people to be asking those questions and thinking about those things. Got some birthdays this week. I'd love to give a shout out to some folks. Mary Ingalls, happy birthday. Wes Waddell. Holly Neer had a birthday recently. Dave Robbins, Norma Lopez, Reverend Lyndon Harris, Zoe Markle, Paula Moore, Johnny Rosen, and Susan Alterman. Happy birthday to all of you. And wish you many, many more. Here's another song that stems a little bit out of the faith perspective on healing. Comes out of the Jewish mysticism. But the sentiment of this song is so important and so appropriate right now. Tikkun Olam, heal the world, Bekesh Shalom, work for peace. And a shout out to Oseh Shalom, Reconstructionist Synagogue in Laurel, Maryland. And to Charlie Bernhardt, cantor there, without whom this song would not have come into existence. He just sent me a note one day with 5 words. The first 2 were Tikkun Olam, and the next 3 were look it up. And it turned into this song.
Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Bekesh Shalom. Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Bekesh Shalom. A tale is told of how the world was made in 7 days. 6 of them for work, 1 to rest and pray. Then God placed the holy light into a vessel made of clay. But it was fractured by our sin, and the pieces fell away. Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Bekesh Shalom. Why was God so careless as to lose this sacred light? Now we must gather up the shards to set creation right. It's a task we may not finish, but we each must lend our hands as we love through imperfection and we heal our broken lands. Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Bekesh Shalom. And so we tend the garden, picking stones and pulling weeds, water with compassion the fragile sacred seed. We are partners in creation, and we let God's true light shine when by faith and solidarity we show our love divine. Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Vakeshalom. Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Tikkun Olam, Vakeshalom.
False start. I've always said if you're going to have OCD, having it around tuning an instrument is a useful application.
Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Your children all are hungry, no food for them to eat. Wandering through this desert, Lord, no shoes upon their feet. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. You said when we left Egypt, you and God had worked it out to lead us to a promised land. You said there was no doubt. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. The people carve their idols to worship and to keep. With greed and lust and hatred, Lord, they dig their graves so deep. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Many tribes and nations searching for the light, and each one has an answer, Lord. Each one thinks they're right. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. So tell me now, where are you, Moses? Where are you now? Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. I said, come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home. Come down from that mountain, Moses, lead your children home.
I'm so glad to be sort of collaborating this evening with the Sophia Center in Binghamton. Sophia Center really is a marvelous resource, community resource for interfaith dialogue, for social justice awareness of this intersection between our faith practices and work of social justice, civil rights in the world. Do check out their website. Again, I mentioned I have Anna posting a few links. NAACP Legal Defense Fund, I've done a little research, very reputable organization. Their website's there. The Highlander Center in Tennessee, one of the birthplaces of the civil rights movement. Truly, there were so many places where black and white civil rights workers could not gather safely. And so the Highlander Center was a place where they could gather together, engage in community dialogue, and figure out how to strategize to build a better world together. If you're not familiar with the Highlander Center, please go check them out. Really, really important community resource. And Campaign Zero, which is relatively new to me, but I think Campaign Zero is, I've been cruising around their website and talking to some people. Great resource, lots of interesting ideas, links to a bunch of other resources there. So if you're trying to figure out how to stay connected even as you're honoring quarantine practices, those are all some great ways to do that. And it's a song called Going Home.
A song for the sailor lost out to sea, a song for the mother who always will grieve, a song for the soldier who lays down his life, a song for the woman who once was his wife. A song for the traveler down on his luck, a circus man plying his trade for a buck. A song for the child who's lost in the night. Though she's never seen stars, she still clings to their light. Going home, going home. A song for the mistress who dares to believe, wiping the tears from her eyes with her sleeve. A song for the poet who runs out of time before he can finish his famous last. A song for the miner who digs out the coal and dreams of life somewhere far from this hole. A song for the rebel who gave up the fight, haunted by guilt, 'cause he still knows he's right. Going home, going home. A song for the lovers who never will meet, star-crossed and stumbling out on the street. A song for the preacher down on his knees, praying for answers he never quite sees. A song for the ones who run into the fire to put out the flames of this world on its pyre. A song for the driver who runs out of road, with nobody there to help shoulder the load. Going home, going home. song for the drinker who puts down the glass. A song for the jumper who takes a step back. A song for the wanderer home now at last. A song for redemption from sins of the past. A song for forgiveness that opens a door. A song for the good friends who gather once more. A song for the prisoner finally free. A song for the veil that is lifted, lifted, lifted. Going home. Going home. Going home. Going home. A song for the singer, a song for the dance. A song for the mystic who yearns for the trance. A song for the beggar, a song for the thief. A song for the hunger that has no relief. A song for the baby who sleeps until dawn. A song for the birds that will sing on and on. A song for the sunrise, a song for the day. A song for the veil that is lifted.
Something really felt like it was missing on that song, and it took me a little while to figure out what it was. It's all of you singing. I'm so used to singing that with you in the audience singing with me. And I miss that, and I miss all of you. I miss the community that we are so blessed to be a part of. And one of the things that we are called to do, I think, right now is to be aware of our own privilege, to be aware of the ways in which we are filled with abundance and filled with opportunities, the ways in which we are not harassed, if that is the case, the ways in which people of color are harassed just for what they look like. And it's not that this is new. This has been a struggle since the beginning of this country. It is our original sin. And it's time that we work for healing in this way. And I'm sorry that it took the death of George Floyd for so many people to hop on board and get aware. But please do follow those links I've asked Anna to post. And please do get involved in whatever way you're able. And as Ricardo encourages us, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Be afraid of not showing up at all. We cannot hide whatever our perspective is, whatever our racial or class experience is, our acculturation. That's part of who we are. But we can let that be something that is a tool in our hands that we use to further things in the world. And I don't think we move things forward by shame. I think we move things forward by bringing the very best in ourselves. Dorothy Day, the founder of the Catholic Worker Movement, along with many other people, Eamon Hennessy, one of them. But Dorothy Day was so clear on her deathbed. She said, "For all that is holy, please do not let them make me a saint, because to do so is to suggest that I've done something beyond what other human beings can do. And I haven't. All that I have done is to love radically. And every human being is capable of that." And I think what we're all being called to right now is a very radical form of love, a very radical form of engagement in the community, so that we can take advantage of this moment and prevent there from being more George Floyds. And so many others like him. I lived in Cleveland, I lived in Cincinnati, I've lived in Chicago, I lived in Seattle, I've lived in big cities that have wrestled with the relationship between the community and the police. And we have, I think, a once-in-a-generation opportunity right now to seize this moment and work for change. And I'm so glad that so many of you are doing it in so many ways, even from quarantine. This is a song I wrote that is about a different different issue, but still part of the civil rights and social justice piece, and I think an important piece, which is immigrant justice. So many of us came here as immigrants, and of course, what I refer to as America's original sin, slavery, from which stem so many other struggles. There were those that came with luggage and those that came without luggage, and I think I'm keenly aware that that my people were somewhere in the middle. They were people who came here with basically nothing, and yet somehow they found their way. Doors of welcome were opened, and therefore I feel an obligation to keep those doors of welcome open for others in the spirit of radical hospitality.
From far away and distant lands, the tempers tossed with hopeful hearts and calloused hands reach toward the light, the torch held high, and cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomes them with open arms. She says, "Let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor." And so it was with my own kin. They sailed from Sweden and from France and Ireland, their earthly cares packed in their bags. They cast their gaze upon the lady of the harbor, and she welcomed them with open arms. She said, "Let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor." Now we're locking down the borders and we're filling up the jails, and we say they don't belong. How conveniently do we forget that we've all come to sing the same sweet song. Will the dream survive the strain? Will huddled masses have a chance to learn its sweet refrain? Or will we fall into our fears and turn our backs against the lady of the harbor? And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, "Let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor." And she welcomes them with open arms. She says, "Let my children in. Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor." Shine on, shine on, oh you lady of the harbor.
One of the really consistent social justice events that I've been a part of over the years is the School of the Americas protest outside of Fort Benning in Columbus, Georgia. And I met Father Roy Bourgeois down there, a remarkable man who has spent a lifetime, an adult lifetime, working for issues of justice as he understood them. And there's been a lot of civil disobedience. Civil disobedience has been a part of many social movements, and we're seeing a renewal in civil disobedience. And that's why those legal defense funds are so important, supporting them, whichever one feels right to you, if you're able. But I wrote this song for that movement, the SOA Watch community. It's called Crossing Over, and I just pulled it out and started singing it again. It just felt really important to sing this song.
Crossing over for our children and their children. May the wars forever cease. Crossing over, we will give ourselves to justice. We will cross this line for peace. We follow in the footsteps of Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and Gandhi. In the words of Eugene Debs, spoken from a prison cell, there's a soul that's captive, we shall not be free. Crossing over for our children and their children. May the wars forever cease. Crossing over, we will give ourselves to justice. We will cross this line for peace. What defines a prison? Is it only walls and bars? Or is it hunger and poverty that bind us? When we waste our wealth on the machinery of war, we are stealing from our future, and we say no mas, no more. Cruzando, pa las niños y sus hijos, que las guerras cesen ya. Cruzando, nos entregamos para la justicia, cruzaremos por la paz. Some endure the shackles of injustice every day, for their gender or their race, or the way they choose to pray, for the millions who are crying, for the innocent and dying, for the hope of every nation. We must find a better way. Crossing over for our children and their children. May the wars forever cease. Crossing over, we will give ourselves to justice. We will cross this line for peace. Cruzando, nos entregamos para la justicia, cruzaremos por la paz.
And we have to remember that while we are paying attention to all of the issues going on around us, there are still challenges everywhere in our society that need our attention. And we can't all pay attention to everything all at once. So if each one of us picks something that we're going to pay attention to and give that our good measure of focus as the one thing that we're going to try and move forward, if all of us do that, things change, things move forward. And of course, it is important to all show up in force at times en masse to let our voices be heard. But don't think for a moment that each individual act doesn't also matter. It does. It absolutely does. Each letter you write, each phone call you make, each email you send makes a difference. It helps raise the general consciousness. And once that's raised, things begin to change. This next song, I've just got two more I'd love to share with you this evening, both requests. And thank you so much for tuning in. Again, a shout out to the Sophia Center. And also, while we're all busy working on different issues, some of us are dealing with some challenges. I'm down, I think now, it seems so trite at this point, but I think I'm down now 87 concerts and festivals this year as a result of COVID-19. So contributions are always welcome, but never expected. This is a song called All Will Be Well. And it uses the words of Julian of Norwich, the medieval mystic. And I know it's hard to believe right now that all will be well, but there will be a time when all will be well. I believe in that.
Be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. We gather here to witness and affirm harmony of spirit and of heart, manifest within you, brought forth from deepest hope, to be a force of healing in this world. All will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. You find your purpose in service to a light that emanates from each and every being that is life. We see the gifts that blossom in your care, and the people who are nourished by your love. All will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. May you go forth to mend what has been broken, to feed those who are hungry, to quench the ones who thirst, for a world of compassion, for mercy that abounds, and a place to dwell in sacred gentleness. All will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. Wherever life may call you, wherever you may dwell, all will be well, all will be well. All will be
Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you coming out. I say force of habit from 22 years on the road and a whole lot of years before that playing music for people. Thank you for being wherever you are and for tuning in. Thanks to Anna Ratliff for helping out with the tech. Thanks to my housemate, Tom Conley, for helping out and letting me know of a few issues that were happening with the stream. And thanks to Charlie Pilzer, Tonal Park, Tacoma Park, Maryland, Dan Senni, the local 1000 AFM tech team, and thanks to all of you. And again, a shout out to the Sophia Center in Binghamton, Interfaith Dialogue Center, and beautiful community resource. Thank you all for tuning in. This last song by request goes out to Barbara up in Ontario, and a good song to end on a summer night. There we go. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Nope. That song, It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want To. I sort of feel like it's my stream. I'll tune if I want to. My apologies if I lost a few of you there, but there's something about playing an instrument that's out of tune that is just painful to me. So there it is. Thanks so much for showing up tonight. Thanks so much for showing up in the world. Here's a song called Fireflies.
Lightning strikes, the thunder rolls, and there's a rumble in the distance. Love calls even when I am afraid. I feel it knock on my resistance. I still believe there are lights that shine, no matter what obscures my point of view. If I can't see the stars from where I stand, I guess the fireflies will have to do. How I wish my life was simple, like when I was a child long ago. Sands of wonder could be held within a mason jar, and I was cradled in their glow. I still believe there are lights that shine, no matter what obscures my point of view. If I can't see the stars from where I stand, I guess the fireflies will have to do. One by one, I capture my dream and try to hold them in my hands. But it seems they always slip away through the hourglass falling sand. As I sit here on this warm Virginia night, searching for a sign that's true, tiny beacons flicker in the darkness. The Tell me that this storm will pass on through. I still believe there are lights that shine, no matter what obscures my point of view. If I can't see the stars from where I stand, I guess the fireflies will have to do. If I can't see the stars from where I stand, I guess the fireflies will have to do. If I can't see the stars from where I stand, I guess the fireflies will have to do. The fireflies will have to do.
Wherever you are, I hope that there are points of light that you can look toward, bright spots on the horizon, and may there be some measure of joy in your heart, even in difficult times, because joy will guide us into the places we want to go. Joy will give us the energy for the movement, the joy of connection with each other, the joy of a beautiful day. The civil rights workers of the past teach us many lessons, but one of them they teach us is that civil rights is a commitment of a lifetime. And we have to keep nourishing ourselves in order to continue doing that work. So may you nourish yourself so that you can nourish others. And may you continue to do good work in the world. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.